Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of surviving a cult, my experience with a religious cult that I was in for 3 to 4 months when I was 19. I'm currently 26. Yeah, if you have not seen part 1, go ahead and watch it. I will link it down below. A lot of you guys requested for more stories about my time there, and that's exactly what you're gonna get today, okay? I also asked the people around me what more would they like to know regarding my cult experience, and I got a lot of feedback. I think someone doesn't want me to make this video, but you know what? It's coming. Let's start off with my experience there. I'm gonna go off and explain like little stories or things that I remember. This was 6 to 7 years ago, so I trauma blocked a lot of things that I went through there. If I do remember as I'm saying these stories, I will let you know. I did try my best to write as many notes as I could. So yeah. So like I said in the first part, every time we would have a Bible study, they would show a curated video made by the Koreans in the main head office. They would break down what they just taught you during the Bible study and just make like a visual of everything. There was this one time where the lady that I met, let's give her a name. Dang. They really don't want me to make this. Let's give the lady that recruited me a name. Let's say it was Samantha. So Samantha was in charge of my Bible studies. When I started, I think a week or two later, some other girls started as well. She was brand new to the church. Her name happened to be Brenda as well. We were both doing Bible studies together on the same track. And there was this one time where Samantha was like, I feel like you're ready for this new video. It's a very like harsh, hardcore video. I'm just warning you, like you might get scared and this and that, but it's okay. Like it's meant to scare you. And I was like, oh, okay. Not thinking not much of it, because I mean, we're at church at the end of the day. From what I can remember, it was a video about a lot of fire, like destruction, the end of the world, hell. It was really hardcore and like bloody, gory, like all of that. And I was like, what the heck am I watching? It was like a horror movie basically. And after it, a couple sisters came up to me and they were like, how are you? How was it? How do you feel? Like, I know, yeah, it's a lot, huh? But that's how hell's gonna be. Like, this is why it's so important that you stay at this church so you can be saved. Otherwise, you're gonna be an outsider. Like, you're gonna be one of those people that go to hell and burn for eternity. And I'm like, huh? Okay. My sister asked if there was any sort of attire, and yes, there was some sort of attire. It was like business-ish. So most of the girls would wear blazers and skirts. Obviously I didn't have any of that, so I would just wear dress pants and a shirt. But all the other girls were always wearing blazers and skirts. Also, for the women, whenever we would go into the temple for service, they would make us wear these blue lace like head covers. I never really understood why. Like, I was very confused, but I think the lady Samantha, like, I asked her like, what do we need to wear this for? She's like, oh, it's like you're respecting God, you're like coming like dressed up nice and head covered. And I'm like, oh, okay. But we would only wear those when we would go inside for service and pray. Actually, I really wanted to learn more about like why they wore that, so I searched up what does the blue veil mean, and basically it symbolizes modesty, purity, and heavenly protection. They also wanted me to buy one, and it was about like $7 or $8, and they're like, oh, it's only $7 or $8, and I told them I don't have $7 or $8 for a veil. They're like, really? I'm like, no, I'm a broke college student. I'm living off of nothing but swipes for the food court that barely even lasts me a week. Samantha was like, I guess she felt so bad, and she saw like how like I kept showing up. She said, it's okay, I'll buy it for you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much, because girl, where was I gonna pull that money out from? There was gonna be a whole event called Passover. Actually, let me look at what Passover means. It says it's a major Jewish festival celebrating Exodus, the liberation of ancient Israelites from slavery in Egypt. So it was a whole event. It was going to take place at a church in Arlington. And Arlington was like 45 minutes from my home church. They made it a big deal, like, you have to go. You have to go to Passover. Samantha was telling me that, you know how Catholics and Christians eat the bread and the wine every other week? Well, that's not okay. That's only supposed to happen once a year during Passover. They do it like every service, and that's not okay. In order to be saved, you need to do Passover every single year, where you eat the bread and the wine and all that. So I was like, oh my God, I need to go to this Passover event or I'm not gonna be saved. Like, she was basically trying to tell me that me going to church every week was pointless if I did not go to Passover. And I was like, oh my God, really? Okay. In the weeks leading up to Passover, everyone was in charge of basically reaching out to past members and members that are keeping their distance from the church for a while or anything like that. So people were calling up other people's phones. They were making sure that they were reaching out and getting everyone to attend. They would call and be like, you know how important Passover is, it's coming, you should just come. Even if you don't want to keep going to the church, just come to Passover so you can like hold your space in heaven or something like that, like just to make sure that you're saved. Some people actually did show up, but most people didn't, because they just like didn't want to be around this church anymore, which I thought was a little weird, because I mean, if they already kept their distance, like why bother them? They were also like, this is such a huge deal, you need to look your best. All the churches from Dallas, Fort Worth area are coming to this one mega church for Passover, so you need to look your best. And I'm like, what do you mean? Are these slacks and shirt not good enough? And they were like, no, this is Passover, like you need to look your best for God. You should get a blazer and a skirt. And I'm like, where do I get that? Oh, there's a place called K&G Fashion, K&G. And I'm like, what the heck is K&G? I've never heard that in my life. And it was basically a store for like business people. I don't even know how to, or like people that go to Sunday service. I walked in there and I was like, I would never step foot in here if it wasn't for these people. And I'm like, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. And they were just like figure it out, but you need to look good. And I was like, oh. So when we walked into K&G, guess what I took with me? My credit card, my first credit card ever, because I was like, how am I going to afford this? This suit, this blazer and skirt ended up being like $50–$60. And that was the cheapest one that I could find. Girl, I went into debt for an outfit for church. That don't even sound right. I feel like they should have just been like, oh, it's okay. But they were so pushy about, you need to look good, you need to wear a blazer and a skirt. At the Passover event, it was a lot of people. Every single seat was taken. There might have been like around 600 people there. We did the bread and the wine, whatever. And next thing you know, somebody says, and we're gonna call mother today. And everyone was like, oh, what? And I was just like, what? I don't get it. They called her mother up. They called little granny up. They put her on speaker with the microphone, and she said some words in Korean. Girl, I don't know if she was talking shit or she was saying something else. Who knows? She was going off saying something rather than nothing, and everyone was like, oh my God, that's her. And so many people were crying. People were real life crying. And I was just like, I didn't understand it. But you know what? To each their own. Okay. After that service, everyone was like, oh my God, that was so beautiful. That touched my heart. Just hearing her voice, I felt like a lost child finally found their mom. What? Girl, I was biting my tongue so bad I was just like, yeah, I felt that too. Yeah, I felt that too. Girl, I didn't feel anything. I felt weirded out. I was like, who is this lady? What is she talking? My mama is in Houston. Who are you? My friend Adrian wanted to know more about God the Mother, the scriptures, because the last video I did say I would put the scriptures down here, but I didn't because I forgot. I tried to the best of my ability to find the scriptures that I could remember, because none of their information is found online. They have people that manages what people post or have to say about them. When I was attending the church, they actually told me like, yeah, we report the people that talk bad about us. So this is not me jumping to conclusion. They actually have people like in their headquarters in Korea that make sure the public doesn't have access to their books and whatever they think. It's really crazy. I'm going to read out some scriptures. I think I only remember 2 of them. Yes, I only remember 2 scriptures that they would say proved there is a God the Mother. The first scripture is Genesis 17:16. It says, I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her. So they would say, God is saying she will be the mother of nations. Mother of nations. So there is a God the Mother, and kings of people will come from her. So God the Mother has churches everywhere all over the world. Like I said, there was churches everywhere you can imagine. India, China, Korea, Canada, the US, they were everywhere. So they were like, there's no other church like our church. Our church is everywhere, and everyone, all people of all nations come. And that was one of their points why there was a God the Mother, because of that one scripture. I'm not gonna lie, I heard that first, and when you have somebody in front of you telling you this, like Samantha was doing to me, it was like, oh dang, so there's a God the Mother. Oh, okay. A big one that they would always say was Revelation 22:17. The Spirit and the bride say, come, and let the one who hears say, come. Let the one who is thirsty come, and let who wishes take the free gift of the water of life. They said the Spirit and the bride. God is the Holy Spirit. The bride, huh? The bride equals God the Mother. God the Father is the Spirit. God the Mother is the bride. They say, come. Why do I sound like am I trying to recruit you? Guys, I hope this doesn't trick anyone who's currently watching this. Oh my God. The chapter of Revelation is like the end of the world chapter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Revelations is like trying to show everyone what's going to happen, right? So this scripture is saying the Spirit and the bride are going to say, come, and whoever comes is going to be taken to heaven for the free gift of the water of life, meaning they're going to ascend to heaven and live forever. Yeah, that's what they would tell me. I sat there through Bible studies and said, oh my God, this is in the Bible. What else would it mean? So when I was telling y'all that Samantha would say, look, da 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 da, what else would it mean? What else would it mean? I would say, you're right. What else would it mean? I fell for it. I sure did. Another point they would make for God the Mother, it does not include a certain scripture. In the Bible, sometimes when they speak of God, they say Elohim. So Elohim in Hebrew means God or gods. It's a plural word. So in Google, I saw that it says this church focuses on salvation through faith in Ansang Hong and God the Mother. Focuses on salvation through faith in these walking, living people, or at least one of them. So if you do not believe in Father Ansang Hong and God the Mother, you do not have salvation. You will not ascend to heaven. You are not saved. Bye, you're going to hell. That's basically what they were saying. That is crazy to me. How am I supposed to idolize a living human? A lot of the sisters would tell me that they would cut off their family members because they were against them attending this church. I just thought that was so crazy. That was very shocking to me, that you would cut off your family just because they don't think this is like the right thing to do. I don't know. Me personally, I'm so close to my family. I can't imagine doing that for the sake of attending a church. Like, it shouldn't affect your life that much, but that's what they do. They make you think if somebody's against you, you need to cut them off. They're pulling you away from your mom and your dad, God the mother, God the father. I would literally say, like, your family here on earth is not your family. Your family is God, the mother, and the father on Song Home. Those are your family. Those are your real parents. The mom that gave birth to you, she is not your real mom. She just gave birth to you, just like Mary gave birth to Jesus. That is physical form, and that means nothing. If your family is against it, you need to be far away from them. They would literally say these things. I feel like I should have given a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but yeah, this is my experience. Like, they will literally tell me that, and I was like, the more time I spent there, the more they would try to pressure me into bringing anyone and everyone I knew. Like I said, I made it clear to them that I'm from Houston, but I'm residing in Dallas for college. So they were like, oh, you don't have any friends? And I had 2 besties in college. When I first started going there, they saw that I was not hanging out with them as much, getting into the Bible, like reading the Bible on my free time. So they were like, what's happening here? And once they asked me, hey, like, what church are you going to? And I said, oh, so-and-so church. So they sat me down and they said, hey, Brenda, we're worried for you. And I said, what? Why? What's wrong? And they were like, we have been reading up online for this church that you're going to, and it sounds like a cult. And I was like, actually, they told me people would say this. They told me that people would say that they're a cult, but they're not a cult. They're not holding me hostage. They're not keeping me there. Like, I want to go. And they were like, no, but a lot of their ways, a lot of their thinking doesn't sound right. Like, God the mother? And I was like, yes, like, I can show you the scriptures. God, there's a God the mother. They were like, this just doesn't sound right. Also, they have a trafficking scheme. And I'm like, no, they do not have a trafficking scheme. At my college, they were known as the trafficking people, human trafficking people, because a lot of people thought that saying God the mother was a radical statement, so they just put them in a box saying like, oh, they're just trying to kidnap people. And I told them, no, I go there because I want to go there. Like, I like the people there. I like the girls there. They're really fun. They're my friends. They try to save me, but no, I was not budging. Like, I guess they realized she is too deep into this, and they just let it go. They said, you know what? You do you, boo. I didn't even try to get them to take a Bible study session with Samantha because I knew they were already against it. Once, when my ex-best friend came to visit from Austin, I really wanted her to go to a Bible study. So I invited her, and Samantha came over to my dorm. We went into like a little separate office, and they had a little Bible study. And my best friend, or at least my ex-best friend, was cracking down on her. Every time Samantha would say something, my ex-best friend would be like clapping back, saying like, no, this is this and this. Just because my ex-best friend, she went to church a lot growing up. So she was very like, her head was on straight when it came to like her religious beliefs. She knew exactly what she believed in. She had her own relationship with God. So she was not budging. And after a while, Samantha saw that she kept shutting her down. So Samantha was like, I think we're done here. And she left. A couple of days later, when I went to service again, Samantha brought her up. She was like, yeah, she was not like very like open to listening to me, and that's not, she's not a good friend. I don't think you should like hang out with her anymore. She was trying to get me away from everyone, truly. So I already had 3 people in my life that were against this religion, right? So they knew I had a boyfriend because he would come pick me up from church sometimes. And they were like, you haven't tried talking to him about our church? And I was like, he's not very religious. I mean, his family is Catholic, but they don't really go to church and stuff. So they were like, you should really try talking to him. So I brought him over for a Bible study once. I had to kind of convince him to go because he was just like, I'm not into religion. I don't want to go to church. But I was like, do it for me. Do it for me. So my ex-boyfriend was like, fine. If it makes you happy, I'll go. He came over to the church for a Bible study and they were just doing the same thing. Like, trying to make points and proving it by the Bible. He was never really a religious person, so to him the Bible meant like nothing really. He was like, it's just a book, it's just a book. Girl, I was so happy because I was like, oh my god, what if we both attend this church? We can spend a lot more time together since this place has been taking up a lot of my time. By the end of the first Bible study, they were like, so you ready? So you ready? To him too. They ended up baptizing him. After the first Bible study, girl, he was so uncomfy. After the whole baptism thing, we went back to my dorm and he was pissed. He was so salty that he went through with something that he did not want to go through. But I told him, you should have said no if you didn't want to do it. And he's like, I felt pressured. And that's when I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt pressured too. And that's when I realized, oh my god, they do this to everyone. Not because they thought I needed to be saved, but because they do this to everyone. So that was kind of a big turning point in me believing that they were genuine. I thought they saw something in me and I needed to be saved genuinely. But no, they just did this to everyone. They would just baptize you right then and there. They would pressure you into doing it. It was like a psychological thing. Ugh. My friend Mariana asked me, what do you think the ultimate goal was? I honestly think they wanted money. I came to the conclusion that they are sort of like an MLM, because over time as you were there, they would say, you're ready for a new Bible study, but in order to start this new Bible study, you need to buy this new book. It's only $30 to $50 and all the money goes to the headquarters. We don't keep any of it. I said, why the headquarters need that much money? Why do they need that much money? I don't even got it. I don't even got the money. I never got to that point where I was offered to buy a book because I never made it that long into my journey with that church. But I know that a lot of girls there did have it. These books were meant for people to learn more about the church and become recruiters. You were literally learning more about their church and their beliefs just so you could become a recruiter. And don't even get me started. People would go to church damn near every day of the week to get together and go in a group to a public place to recruit people. So the lady that recruited me, she would constantly go to my college to recruit people. And there were so many books to learn from. Like, I don't understand why you would need to know so much unless you're trying to recruit people. You're trying to get the hang of everything and know everything and everything that's gonna come your way as you are trying to recruit people, you know? Like, you need to learn how to keep up with all these lies, all these delusions. Yeah, my next topic is tithing. I don't know how to say that word. Tithing. Tithing is when you give 10% of your paycheck to the church. It's like kind of like to give thanks to the church, your home church, just so they can be up and running and stuff like that. Every church does this, right? Every church, they do that where it's like, it's recommended because they say like, if you give money to God, God is gonna double it and give it to the next. So they would always tithe, and girl, every time they would ask me, I would say no. Or I would just wouldn't give anything. Why? Because I had no money. I literally had nothing. I did not have an income. There was no job. There was nothing coming in. It was truly nothing. My mom would send me like 30 to 50 bucks every month, and I would have to ask her like, hey, can I have some money? And she would send me 30 or $50. Like, that's it. One time they had a Bible study about the importance of tithing, which was very like, oh, okay, you directed it to me.
Wait, is this fucking Pray About Us?
Y'all keeping tabs? Oh, okay. And I was like, well, I don't have a job. Like, I don't have any money. Like, I wish I could tithe. Like, I would if I had a job, but I don't. I said the only money I get is from my mom, maybe like once a month. And she sends me like $30 to $50. Y'all want to know what they told me? They said, why don't you give 10% of that? Oh, hell no! So y'all okay with seeing me struggle? Y'all are perfectly fine with seeing somebody on the floor and kicking them down one more time. Is that what you're telling me? Just imagine telling a broke college student, like, why aren't you tithing? That just rubbed me the wrong way so bad. I could not believe that they were telling me this. I think I only tithed like once, and it might have been like $3 to $5. And yeah, girl, I was just thinking like that could have been some maruchan. But one of my friends asked me, when did I start to realize? When did I start to realize that it was a cult? Baby, I think I always knew. Y'all need to remember that the food kept me there. The food and the friends, but more importantly, the food, okay? In all seriousness, I think after the God is alive statement, I was like, immediately no. Immediately no. They worshipped her. I just didn't like that. I was raised knowing that like it is so wrong to idolize or worship somebody who's not God. But they made it like she was God. I don't know. It was so weird to me. But after that statement of God being here and all that, I knew. I was like, baby, this is all blasphemy. Okay, those are all the stories that I can recall. So like I said, my experience was a crazy hectic ride. So I was reading up on this church last night, and I found a Reddit post, which I'm going to link down below, but it really caught my attention, and I'm gonna read some of it, okay?
Hello friends, I was invited to this church because I expected it would only be a teaching about the Bible. Then I got a good time learning about the Bible with their local church leader / recruiter. After he was done teaching about the Bible, he told me directly that I needed an immediate baptism. I wasn't expecting that. I only came for the teaching about their Bible because I'm kind of interested. They really forced me to do immediate baptism to save my soul, and it seems that they wouldn't allow me to go home if I'm not baptized. So I followed them. I signed the baptism form paper, wrote my name and my phone number and my address to get baptized. I then went home. But after that, I found some information that they were a cult-like religious organization who were forcing their members to cut ties with their families, doing unoppressive tithes, sex trafficking, and forcing their members to live in shared housing or communes. This made me scared, and I immediately wanted to leave.
After I read that Reddit post, I was just like, that's literally what happened to me, and I guess it happens to everyone else. Some of the comments on that post were people saying,
they're legit a cult. They won't kill you. They just want your money. And do not worry, no crazy spirits enter your body or anything like that upon baptism. Just run from the hills from this place. Block members. If they harass you, file a police report.
Isn't that crazy? Another comment says,
they aren't involved in any sex trafficking. However, they are a cult-like organization, and I advise to stay away. I was in this church for 10 years. They definitely take a lot of your time. Church all day Saturday, preaching on Sunday, and 1-hour service on Tuesdays, and preaching and Bible study on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and cleaning on Fridays to prepare for Sabbath.
That was literally a schedule. Oh my God, that was literally the schedule. It was like a whole week ordeal. You had to be there every day of the week, or you weren't into this church.
They convince you to leave friends behind if they don't agree to come to a Bible study. They teach you that your parents aren't as important as father and mother.
I told y'all, you see, they are saying it.
They suck the life out of you and they drain your pockets. Do not join.
Okay, Ms. Lotto, Big Lotto. I can't make this up. I hope everyone who's watching this believes me. It affected my view on religion and God. I have been able to move past this, and I have attended church, several churches after this. It took me a while. It took me about like 3 to 4 years, but I do have a relationship with God now, and I'm so glad that I survived. I made it out alive, guys. They never took any of my money. I know they're mad about it. I know they're mad. Baby, all that food that I ingested, I made a dent. Last night I was texting my friends about like their questions that they had, and tell me why one of my friends woke up this morning and texted the group chat like, I had a dream that they came to recruit me, and you told me that if they were able to convince you, then it's true. And then we all joined the cult. Y'all, this cult-like religious organization is haunting my friends in their sleep. Y'all better stop it. That is my story of how I survived a cult. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoy my content, go ahead and subscribe to be notified when I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye. Come back at 6, wake me in your child, and then won't lay today, make me wonder who